Hey everyone, Frank Rumbauskas here, and I wanted to run through some of the principles that I'm going to be covering in the online business blueprint that goes live this Thursday, this week. It'll be open for a very limited time to a very limited number of people, and we will be screening the buyer list for competitors to make sure they don't get access to this, because I am absolutely pulling the curtain aside so you could see how nevercoldcall.com works, how I built my business, how I run my business, how I grow my business, and how you could do the same. But what I want to talk about today is a book that was very influential to me when I started my business. It's called Rich Dad's Cashflow Quadrant, ESBI. That is one of Rich Dad's trademarks, one of the principles he teaches. This is a great book. It's a big book, so I'll give you a warning ahead of time on that. But I'm going to cover the major principle today and explain why you want to avoid the traps that most people fall into when they create an online business, and how you can avoid those traps with the online business blueprint. So let me set this book aside and open up my marker here. So you see 4 quadrants, and what Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki teaches is the 4 quadrants of income, of work, are E, the employee quadrant, which is where most people are. S is the self-employed quadrant. B is business owner. I is investor. Now, it's this difference between self-employed and business owner that most people don't understand. The majority of people, well over 90%, who think they're starting a business are really just creating a job for themselves. So if you look at self-employed people, like a personal trainer, for example, is trading time for money. And even I can continue to do some of these things. When I am speaking, I am getting paid to speak. I'm trading time for money. When I do my mastermind coaching calls, I'm getting paid money for my time, so I'm trading time for money. But I don't have to do any of those things, and for many years I didn't really work at all after I started nevercoldcall.com, because nevercoldcall.com is not an S quadrant business, it is a B quadrant business. So I'm going to show you how to build a B quadrant business. The principle behind a B quadrant business is very simple. It is a system that generates income whether you choose to get out of bed that morning and work or not, where the S quadrant, you think you're starting a business, but what you're really creating for yourself is a job, J-O-B. A lot of people say J-O-B for just over broke, and I know that's how it was for me during all the years I had jobs. So what you want to do is create a system. I frequently don't work, travel for pleasure. I do a lot of, I'm very politically involved, so I was in D.C. Quite a bit this summer. For example, I stay home, spend time with my daughters because one is not in school yet, so she's at home, drive my wife crazy all day. So it's certainly appreciated when I stay home to play with her. But this is the freedom that you get as a B quadrant business owner. You don't get that with this. Most people who are self-employed, they think they have a business. They end up working 10, 12, 14 hours a day, frequently just scraping to get by. You don't want to do that. And in fact, a lot of people who think they have online businesses are doing that. They have not built a system. They're up at all hours blogging and creating content, doing all these things that really only have to be done for a very short and limited time. I'm going to show you how to do that in the online business blueprint. So the beauty of a system, like I said, is freedom. The other beautiful thing is the income that you derive from it, which can transfer into I, the investor quadrant. So let me give you an example of that. I personally don't buy stocks. I don't own public stocks or 401k or any of that. And it's very simple. It's because, as I learned from Rich Dad, by the time the stock goes public, all the real money has been made. So an example of that is a few years after I started nevercoldcall.com, I became what's called an accredited investor. So federal law, the SEC, basically says if you want to buy what's called a PPO, private, I forget what it's called, PPO, private offering. It's basically private stock in a company. So when you see, if you watch Shark Tank, when they invest money, what they're really buying is PPO, private placement offering. It's private stock in a company. It's not public stock. And so a few years after starting nevercoldcall.com, I had the chance to buy $500,000 in a small local telephone and internet provider company. And 10 years later, the company just got bought out by Vonage. So that's, I don't know, haven't seen the numbers yet, but that's going to be a big payday. But you're only going to get there, first, by having a system that generates income for you, whether you work or not, and second, generates enough income, because I believe the qualifications, at least at the time, to be an accredited investor is you've got to have an income of at least, if I recall correctly, $250,000 a year and a net worth of $1 million. So basically, you have to be a millionaire. You're not going to become a millionaire by being self-employed, trading time for money, working 80 hours a week, not seeing your family, being stressed out. This is what happens to most people who think they have a business. What they really have is a job that they created for themselves, and a job that's a lot harder than the one they quit to start this so-called business. You want to be up here. You want to get out of the employee column. You want to be out of the self-employed column. You want to be up here in the B, business owner column. And again, business means systems. It doesn't mean a job where you're killing yourself working 60, 80, 100 hours a week to get by or to make a good income. It means you can work whether or not you want. People go to the website, they buy my product, a third-party company ships it, another third-party company takes the phone calls, deals with the customer service, yet another third-party company handles the credit card disputes, things like that come through. They handle the refund processing. I can literally do nothing if I choose to, and I frequently do just that. And you can do the same. Whether you choose to make an extra $1,000 a week, an extra $5,000 a month with the online blueprint, or better yet, what I want you to do is challenge me. Say, Frank, I want to build a $10 million business. I want to excel your business. Because if you do that, you're going to have the information to do it. You're going to be astonished at the amount of information I give away in the online business blueprint. But for now, before that becomes available to you in about the next day and a half, I want you to think about not creating a job for yourself, not being self-employed, getting out of this employee quadrant if you currently have a job working for someone else. Because remember, when you have a job, all you're doing is working to make somebody in the B quadrant rich. So I want you to be up here, create a business system that generates income, whether you work or not. The internet is the ultimate platform to do that. I honestly cannot say if I'd be in this position today without the internet. And of course, you could parlay this income, like I said, into things I've done. 500,000 shares that I bought dirt cheap in a company that's now been bought out by Vonage. I mean, that's a multi-million-dollar payday. I did nothing but buy a piece of paper and sit on it, have it sitting in my safe for all these years. So keep systems in mind. It's all about systems. It's all about building a system that generates income for you, whether you work or not. And very, very soon, you're going to get the online business blueprint. It is a terrific blueprint. It's a lot of content. A lot of information. It's got homework assignments, but it's going to get you involved. I put the homework assignments in there to get you hands-on, involved. You get all the content up front. You don't have to wait for it on a time release like I've experimented with on previous products and courses. So keep your eyes open for the online business blueprint, and I look forward to you joining me in the business owner and investor quadrants of the Cashflow Quadrant.